Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to Buddies on Buddies, a show with two real life buddies talking about buddy action comedy movies. I'm Kenny Lane.
I'm the Luka Duke. Make you want to puke.
Great material. How you doing, Lucas?
Well, coming in hard with the criticism, you should have been like, Lucas, that was a good try, a little humor. I appreciate that at the top of the show.
Yeah, real highbrow. Good one there.
It's my
I'm Kenny Penny, pumpkin pie. Yeah, good one.
Your name is literally the Night Train.
Yeah, that was my nickname.
So is Lukey Duke. That's my nickname.
That's a fucking stupid nickname. Get rid of it.
I'll talk to everybody who calls me that and say, no more. 86 on that.
I'm gonna mass email tomorrow. Just saying.
Kenny, how was your date tonight?
My date tonight? I just got back from work.
No, well, you're dressed like you went on a date because this is the.
No, I gotta look good for my my gig. I'm a male escort.
How is that working out on the peninsula?
The money's not so great, but the action is hot.
The clients are plentiful.
How was your day at the bus stop?
It was good. Made some friends. No new clients.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bus stop. What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
You look like you've been hanging out at a bus stop all day.
You know, a lot of people dress up nice to the bus stop because they're on their way to work. So I don't get what you're saying.
If you have a good job, you don't ride the bus.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's true.
It depends on what city you live in.
I guess so. Mostly the Chicago, New York, you're taking a subway or the L.
Let's hold on. Before we move forward, let's pump the brakes a little bit. I'm getting a lot of negativity from you early on. Is there something you want to talk about?
I'm all love. I'm all big love.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Is something on your mind? Something you want to talk about?
Oh, I'm in a good mood. I was gonna have a buddies on buddies sesh, and then you come in like you look like shit. Oh, nice joke.
I'm here for support, my buddy. That's what I'm here for.
What's new in your life?
Anything new? What?
I beat you. Anything interesting in your life? Anything?
No, well, not too much. Well, I went to church. Have you been to church in ever?
That's when I was a kid. No.
Oh yeah. This time was probably my favorite church experiences because the organist got COVID, so we couldn't sing any songs. So we just said all the songs, which in Episcopalian church was like you have to do like 6 or 7 hymns. So we just said them, and that cut back the time a lot. So I'm going to try to campaign just get rid of the organist completely at church.
Now, are you a God-fearing man?
I don't fear God. I just don't like him. No, I don't know. I guess
church has more purposes, even if you don't, believe in higher powers and stuff. It's still a nice place to get your moral compass recalibrated.
I guess so. I think I mostly just as like going with mom and supporting her and that kind of thing. But it's fine to go. According to Episcopalian diocese, to be like an upstanding member of the church, you have to go 3 times or more a year. So it's like Easter, Christmas, and a wild card. So we got that wild card out of the way right out the gate. So,
well, that's good. Is it as boring as it was when I was a kid, or if you're older, is it less boring? Like.
Not for me. It's even maybe even worse. I don't know because I can drive now. I can get away, but I can't. No, it's fine. They put on a good service here and everything. I kid church.
Yeah, there you go. That's more than most people do, even God-fearing people.
Yeah. How about you? What are you up to?
Not much. I had a interview because I'm trying to find new work. I had an interview today at JP Morgan Chase.
Yeah, JP Morgan. Nice.
Yeah, just for some bullshit. But yeah, and I've had a couple interviews, but this was the most formal. I don't want to say intense, but it was way more than just what's called. It was way more than just like connecting with them to see if you're the vibe because it's such a big corporation,
What was like the position?
It's just for customer service rep, but it's like 4 week or no, it's like 10 weeks training. Sorry.
Wow.
Thank you, Mary.
Hey, Kenny.
Hey, Mary. How you doing?
Are you not recording? Are you?
Oh yeah, we're recording.
Never mind.
Can you duck your face in a little bit? Say hi to the audience.
You want to duck your face in a little bit? Be on YouTube forever? Oh God!
Hey, oh my God.
Don't do that ever again.
That was the Exorcist clip of
Yeah.
Mary.
I hope that's the thumbnail.
The subliminal Mary.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, get out of here. Your 5 minutes are over. All right. But no, I haven't been in a tense corporate situation like that in a long time. So it
Yeah.
was like tough questions, and you have to answer them in a certain way, and like it was weird. But whatever, I got
Yeah.
through it.
Well, that's good. Well, good luck. Hope you get the gig.
I'm 50-50. I hope I don't get the gig, and I really need the gig. So it's
You get the gig, now you're stuck in corporate hell. But if you don't, you fucking didn't get a fucking thing. So shit.
yeah. So that's my life right now.
Right on.
Uh-huh. Hey, what movie are we doing? Because we're buddies, I'm buddies, and we watch and review Buddy
Always
Has
cover a
Comedy.
movie.
This
Guaranteed.
week we have what I think is a big one. You want to say what it is?
Sure. It's the 2003 Sony Pictures release Bad Boys 2, directed by Michael Bay, starring Martin Lawrence and Will Smith.
And before we get to that, and I feel like we both have a lot to say about this movie, are there any other movies you've seen since our last cast? You want to talk about it?
I went to the theater and saw Bob Marley: One Love, which I don't know why it was like one of those like titles with a colon. Like, are they going to make more of these, or I don't know?
Maybe they were just letting the audience know that this is what this artist did for younger people. I don't know.
Yeah, but it was like, pick a title. Don't give me multiple titles. But it was okay. For Bob Marley fans, there's nothing really wrong with it per se. It just never really like was that engaging or really took off or anything. But it's kind of like reggae music. It's kind of there. You just kind of dig it, and then it's over, and you're like, all right. Again, though, the lead actor, good actor, he did a fine job. Looks nothing like Bob Marley at all, so that's kind of distracting for a while.
Well, Bob Marley wasn't a traditionally attractive person.
I guess he's a short guy, but
don't get me wrong, he's hot because he's a pothead Rastafarian musician, so he's a hot piece of ass. But he's not what you would call traditionally attractive as far as finding an actor to play that.
I don't know. I guess he had a lot of charisma, but anyway, it just always distracts me when Joaquin Phoenix can do a great job as Johnny Cash. Looks nothing like fucking Johnny Cash, or.
But he did a great job. I don't think you need to find a lookalike. I think a better actor is more important than a lookalike.
Maybe, but I could find it distracting if like the person just doesn't look or sound anything like the character.
You're just never going to be happy tonight, are you?
No. Not feeling it. How about you? What'd you see? Go.
Speaking of Joaquin Phoenix, Napoleon, I finally saw that.
Yeah, how was that?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's a lot of battle scenes, very much a dad movie, really well paced. Not as deep as you might want. There are some hints at deepness, but it never really delves deep into something. It was more of an excuse to have a parade of battle scenes. And Joaquin Phoenix is great as Napoleon because he, in your defense, looks just like the fucking guy. Like, looks.
Yeah. Now we're talking. Good
except for his, Californian accent and stuff.
Am I like in charge of the army?
Well, I was telling him because some people bother with that. I was like, I'd rather him do that than some French accent, which is going to be even more insincere.
It's always distracting. They're supposed to be Russians, but they're speaking English with a Russian accent too. It's like, just do subtitles. Like, well, why would they talk in English, but you give them an accent? That's always dumb, but whatever.
Yeah, and also I would rather see the actor do his authentic voice instead of doing some accent or just speaking bad French. Just fucking. But the movie's cool. I think you would enjoy it.
Do you still get excited for new Ridley Scott movies?
I get more. I never got excited for them, but the older I get, the more excited I get for them.
Really?
Yeah, because he does so many historical epics and stuff. Like, I can't wait for Gladiator 2. And he has some hidden gems in his late career, some really good fucking movies. They almost never make money, but they're really good movies. So yeah, I always look forward to them. Especially as I get older, I'm more into history. So
yeah, I mean, he's got big
Napoleon, Gladiator 2 coming out. One with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon was a very good movie, very underrated.
Which one was that?
The one where the guy rapes the girl and it's like a
I think you told about the last duel. Yeah.
The last duel, yeah. Yeah, that's
Right
a
on.
good. Yeah. And real quick before we go, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I was blown away by Seven Men from Now.
Seven Men from Now.
Yeah, it's a Western, but here, before I go on, first of all, that 7 Men from Now is like a great Western. It's like perfect, pitch perfect Western. But the director, Boetticher, Boetcher, maybe Bud Boetcher, but he has a
Watcher.
string of Westerns. I'm going to go down a bunch of his, but he did a lot of well regarded Westerns on mid to low budgets during the heyday of Westerns. And after I saw this, and this is like supposed to be like his fourth best, so now I'm really looking forward to discovering more of his work.
I've never even heard of that movie, so now I'm kind
Neither had
of
I.
intrigued about it. Yeah.
That's what's good about Letterboxd. Like I learned it from Letterboxd. I was like, I'll throw it on, and all his movies are like 80 minutes long. So I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can watch all his movies in a week or two if I want to. You know.
Right on.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Letterboxd, what's your most liked critique or post or criticism, that you've ever posted?
It told me it was an animated DC movie, which was god awful, and my critique of it was, I don't know what I'm doing with myself, or why do I do this to myself, or what am I doing with my life, something like that. And they got like 5 likes.
Yeah,
from people I don't even know.
Yeah. I like how people spend write like 7 or 8 paragraphs just going into minute detail and stuff. And then I think my highest liked one was like 4 likes or something. It was like for my science project, that goofy teen science fiction movie from the 80s. I think my critique was should have been totally bitching, but was just semi bitching. And that was my greatest.
And it blew up.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, there's people in the Letterboxd community where it's like there's 2 parties. People try to make funny reviews, or people are trying to make serious critiques that are like 5 pages long. And it's
yeah,
like,
I try to kind of blend them a little bit. I think the people just go like right on and on and on. It's just like, okay, no one cares. But then also if someone just makes a flippant joke, and it gets like 3,000 likes. It doesn't really tell you anything about the movie.
I think it depends on the movie and how funny you are too. I find myself very funny, so I give myself free rein.
I did like this one guy's critique of the Bob Marley One Love movie. It was just one love, one heart, one star.
That's cool. He was able to sing it through the review. I need to figure out how to.
Well, I think he just wrote it.
Oh yeah,
I knew what he was getting at. Yeah.
Okay. Let's jump into fucking Bad Boys 2. Bad Boys 2.
Bad Boys 2, baby. Yeah.
Summary, or you want me to do the plot summary?
Yeah, go for it, because this is one of those 2. It's a little like
a Cuban drug lord takes on the Russian mafia and the federal police and the Miami Police Department to take over the ecstasy ring in Miami, Florida. But he wasn't planning on the bad boys.
That was a very Californian way. But the guy had like a thing. I would just said those 2 guys from Bad Boys are at it again. Yeah.
Yeah. Yours is like a 30s sports announcer, and mine's a Californian SNL sketch.
Those bad boys are better than ever.
Uh-oh, the bad boys are back.
Hide your dollars.
When was the last time you saw Bad Boys 2?
I think I haven't seen it since I watched it with you in like our apartment in Tempe like 20 years ago or more.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm the same thing, aside from maybe a scene here or there, cable and stuff. But yeah, I think that's the first time I saw it all the way through. Rewatching it, I realized I attribute a lot of scenes from the original Bad Boys to this movie. They like blended together. Yeah. So it felt like a really fresh watch. Aside from like a scene or 2, I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen, or what. I was surprised how little of it I remembered.
Yeah, I thought it was I had like a lukewarm reaction to it when I saw it, initially, but maybe because we've been doing so many of these. And at first I was was kind of hard going for me because I didn't really like the look of it. That was kind of that saturated color tones and like the close-ups and everyone's sweaty. And that was definitely a part of that era. I think that Tony Scott movie Domino is all like that. The fast cuts.
That's unwatchable yet.
Yeah, but that same kind of aesthetic. But as the movie went on, I started really digging it. Maybe it was the beers were kicking in or something, but by the end, I was kind of bummed out when it was over. I was like, oh man, what am I going to do the rest of my night? I wanted this to go on forever, even though it was a fucking really long movie.
I am completely on board. The first 20 minutes, like, I don't know if I want to finish this fucking movie. Maybe I just stop it and go, like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I will just wing the rest of the episode, either pretend I saw it or just joke about how you're going to finish it. But yeah, it eventually won me over. So I did enjoy the movie. What I think it is if this was a foreign film we knew nothing about, we would think this is fucking cool and crazy, you know. But it came out, it was a big American hit. We were like, why are audiences freaking out about this movie? It's every fucking Michael Bay trick he has in the book.
We've seen it all before in a million other movies, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. It's Ken fucking Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. It's sexist, it's homophobic, it's all these things. But all these recipes make one of the best buddy action comedy cakes I've seen in a while. Like, it is fucking delicious.
Well, yeah, I think it's got to be attributed to, like, of course, the two leads, who, again, I didn't really find their banter funny, but they're very appealing, if that makes sense. And also Michael Bay's direction. I mean, his action scenes are bigger. Even I think you could tell he really went for broke this time. I mean, I think the budget of this movie is $100 million more than the original, which the original was like 35 million. This is like 135 million or something. But like the big out, like shot on location, not in a soundstage, action sequences really stood out to me this time. I was like, wow, they're really going across that bridge, throwing cars around and smashing into each other and all that stuff. So I was kind of like, wow, this is really awesome shit.
No, they're nuts. And there is a lot of CGI in this movie, but you're hard pressed to find it. Aside from the stupid camera tricks, which have aged poorly, but the actual CGI, like with the cars flipping and stuff, a lot of that shit's like fake. And you can't really tell. It's aged really well. So they did a great job with that. But no, like, this reminded me of, like, this is like the Avengers of buddy action movies, you know? Like, just with this like, budget and scale, it's fucking nuts. It looks like a $300 million movie now.
Right. No, it was like, I think, well, but what's funny though is I don't really, even though I could tell it's a big, big movie, I can't really tell it that much different from the original. To me, it's not like Terminator and Terminator 2, where you're like, okay, this is miles away as far as special effects go and stuff from each other. This one, I guess it just shows what good a job Michael Bay did with the original, where it doesn't stand out that much as like this is a completely different, ball game or something.
See, it's not, you can tell it's the same movie in the same world in the same realm, but you can definitely tell the difference. This is like Reservoir Dogs to Pulp Fiction, if that makes any sense. It's like, this is what I can do to prove my craft. Now this is what I can do when I have all these fucking resources at my disposal. Like, I'm fucking nuts. And as much as I don't like Michael Bay, I'm not a Michael Bay defender, but
still not a Michael Bay fan?
He's a really fucking good director at times. I just hate the Transformers movies a lot. I just hate
well, that's kind of a signature series too now.
Yeah, and I can't stand them. So, like, unwatchable to me. So, but this movie was really fucking cool. Not without its issues, of course. But all that bad shit makes it entertaining. All the bad shit in this is like laughable. So, and then the good shit is still really good, So,
well,
it's hard. It's hard.
Like, Roger Ebert hated this movie, and one scene in particular where the nervous kid goes to pick up Martin Lawrence's daughter, and they kind of just harass him and threaten him at the door. And again, it was like, I get what Roger Ebert's saying. These guys actually aren't that likable. Just because Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, they are likable. Otherwise, this happened before, like Freebie and the Bee and a bunch of other movies we've seen. Like, you like these guys, but you don't really know why, because nothing they do is really that good or nice or whatever. But this time I thought it was funny. I thought, like, this is so bad or weird or dumb.
I know why it's funny, and it's a brave comedic choice. The kid doesn't react. He's just a fucking stone wall. He's not scared. He's not anything. He's like, yes, okay, yeah. And that's a really interesting choice that they found. I don't know if the actor is even really an actor, but he doesn't get scared. He doesn't act. He doesn't respond to anything. So they're just going nuts, and he's just a plank of wood. And for some reason, that makes it funnier and easier to digest, So it was a kid pissing himself or something like that, or emoting at all, it might be a little more uncomfortable. But because that
Yeah.
kid's so stupid looking and his delivery of his lines is so stupid, and he's like 14 years old, I don't know, it worked for me too. I agree. I remember that scene. I remember Ebert talking about it.
Hmm. Do you remember the opening? Like the opening scene, I thought was really confusing. It was like, okay, they're importing ecstasy, and then there's a Klan rally, and then the Klan they're buying ecstasy, but they're not buying that much, and then there's some confusion there, and Martin Lawrence gets shot in the ass, and the old partner gets shot in the ass gag. I was already confused pretty much what the hell was going on, like right off the bat.
Yeah, it was too intense early on. And that was a part of it. It never settled into the world. It just threw you in. And now they're at this big clan meeting and they're taking off the clan suits. They
Yeah,
cover as clan members. And it's just way too much early on. You're like, oh man, we're in for a chore of a fucking movie.
right.
It's excessive.
Well, yeah. Now the first one, there was basically like no script, and they kind of winged it. Supposedly, there was a script they threw out, blah blah blah. But this one, I guess, had a crazy amount of writers that worked on it, like famous names. Like well, Ron Shelton, who we love, got both story and screenplay credit.
I saw that. That's great.
Yeah, but also like Judd Apatow, Seth Rogen, Brian Hegeland, if that's how you say his name, and Jerry Stahl. Like, there's a whole crazy list of people that apparently worked on this for like a week or a couple weeks or
Just
whatnot.
punching up dialogue and shit, probably. And
Punching up dialogue. I guess Ron Shelton had the idea that he wanted to be like about the drug smuggling that kind of intertwines like Cubans with Jamaicans with the racist Klansmen, or I don't know, the whole like weird ring down there at the time anyway. But that's what they had locked on. But I don't know. Even Ron Shelton says I really don't know how much of my actual script made it to the end movie. Who the fuck knows?
And then plus when you have actors like Will Smith, Martin Lawrence are improvising a shit ton,
Right,
who the fuck knows.
right.
Let's get to some notes. I love the timely bullshit ODing on ecstasy,
Yeah, how many people OD on ecstasy? Is that a big thing?
I'm sure it's happened, but it's probably mostly from dehydration and other drugs. But I don't think
Probably.
ODing on ecstasy actually happens. But
I
like
think people get alcohol poisoning and die at like frat parties, but I bet like the amount of people that just die of sudden alcohol poisoning is probably not as
oh yeah.
crazy as other things. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really funny when he takes the funniest part is when Martin Lawrence, that's classic set piece where he accidentally takes drugs. Like you need to keep him in the shower, otherwise his brain will overheat.
Yeah, I did like how he played that whole ecstasy scene, even though it was so like again, it's one of those things like I'm kind of laughing at how dumb and cliche movies, but they're just going for it and stuff. So yeah, a lot of that drug shit. It's kind of like left over from the '80s, where like every bad guy was a drug dealer in the '80s because that was made you know they were evil.
Yeah, and it's funny that carried on. Anyway,
Mhm.
the best action sequence by far, and it's most memorable. It's one I remember from back in the day, and it holds up. Is the for me the chasing the cars on the bridge, and they're dropping the cars off, and they're having
Yeah,
to still holds up. Great action
yeah.
sequence. Loved it. But it was really funny. The next scene, like cop cars are getting hit, blown up, and everything. And then they're talking to the chief, and he's like, "I'm just glad no cops died." And I was like, "What are you?"
Yeah. A bunch of civilians died, but thank God the cops didn't die.
Well, even
Uh,
cop cars are getting blown up and stuff, and in high speed.
yeah.
And I'm like, "What do you mean? None of these cops died?"
No, 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 no. It's all okay. Everything's fine. What about? Did you believe any of that subplot with Martin Lawrence's sister being like the FBI agent or any of that shit? Like,
She
was
was a
that
DEA agent. It was just one of those things where
DEA? Sorry.
she's obviously not a drug thing. She's obviously involved in Will Smith, and all those things happen. Maybe I remembered them. Maybe just what, but then she just becomes a damsel in distress. So,
Yeah.
which of course I saw coming, added nothing to the movie.
Felt very shoehorned in. Another great action scene I liked, but also had some issues with it when they drive through all the hilltop
Yeah.
shanties at the end. But they also like right before they drive into it, they say, "Luckily, like no one's in these. It's just for making drugs or drug dealers." Because I think that was like critique of like, are they just mowing through poor people's houses for the action sequence? That would be a total Michael Bay thing. Like you're just gonna drive right through their fucking homeless shacks, man. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Michael Shannon, I knew he was in this peripherally. Like I had to use recall memories. Oh yeah, I knew he was in this just from like interviews with him or something. So it's great to
I
see him. And
yeah.
then he came back later, so he had a decent role in this for that young in his career.
Yeah, and he pops up in like little parts like Groundhog Day and stuff like that. So he was around for a long time, but before he became like a big character actor. But like, yeah, that was kind of fun to see him playing just this the dumbass like hick that
And he hands it up. His first lines like,
Oh yeah, big
"I
time.
got my rights."
I think that was probably Michael Bay's direction too. It wasn't like play this, subtly, like really believe the character, just make a lot of crazy faces and be really scared. Yeah,
But God love it. God love him.
God love it, man.
The villain was good. I like the actor.
Mhm,
I think he's the guy from Blow
mhm.
and hasn't done a lot, but he's like great in both this and Blow. Like,
Yeah, he was kind of a go-to guy there for a while, and that's mostly what I remember him from, Blow and stuff. I'm surprised I can't remember him from more movies of the last 20 years that he's been in, but I did love, and spoiler alert, when he gets shot in the head at the end in slow mo. There's a lion's roar, like rah, like when he's that was great.
I hope when I eventually get shot in the head, probably by my own hand, a lion roars.
Yeah, well, we can always hope. It reminded me of like all the tiger like wow growls and MacGruber every time there's an explosion.
I want to get into the set pieces because this movie has a lot of great ones. But I did
Sure.
notice that when they arrive somewhere, I know when it's going to be an action scene
Oh
because
yeah,
it's like in a video game. I know you don't play a lot of video games, but you like
yeah.
arrive somewhere and there's like noticeable amounts of cover, you know,
Uh-huh.
like red barrels. And you're like, oh shit,
Right, yeah, yeah.
we're in an
Just a
action scene.
fire in the sky go flaming up, or it's like we're at this crazy mansion with all these barrels. Oh, we're at a warehouse that just holds gasoline.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
clinking chains. Uh,
Hmm.
the movie's the same way. I saw every action piece coming because
Yeah. One thing I thought the first movie though had that this one didn't have was Mark Mancina's score had that pumping theme from the first one. I remember from all it stood out as like one of the better scores from all the like buddy action comedies we'd seen. Had that dun 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 dun. And this one they got rid of him and got rid of that for some reason, and he brought on I think the guitarist from Yes who did all these like scores like for Armageddon and stuff. But Michael Bay's like direction for him was like, no, I don't want a melody. I just make music for the action sequences. That is, but I thought it was a strange choice.
yeah, the score was fine. It was just very clubby, you know.
Generic. Well, that was just generic. It's just like it's your general action score without really a main theme, which I don't know. But that's kind of a minor quibble in the long run, I guess.
But I get it. Like if you're gonna have a series, I would want the theme to be consistent throughout the sequels and stuff, so it can be more
Yeah.
iconic. And then when you
Right.
play it, 5 to 10 years down the road, the audience goes, "Now I know I'm watching, Mission Impossible or whatever the fuck."
Right.
Dan Marino, good cameo. What a fucking
Good
waste of
cameo. There's a few cameos in this movie. Yeah.
Who gives a shit? Why keep that in the movie? Like, oh my god, Dan Marino. Like, who gives a shit?
It's Florida. It's Miami. He's a big celebrity down there.
Whatever. They for a buddy action movie. This is why it's so good as a buddy action comedy.
Hmm.
They really take their time with their comedic set pieces, whether they're good or bad. And you can
Yeah.
argue they're bad, but at least they're comedic set pieces. It's not just the banter. They take their time, like when they're in the electrical store and they're having
Uh-huh.
the conversation, and it sounds like he fucked him in the ass, and it's a miscommunication, and it's
Yeah.
being played to the entire store. That's a comedic set piece. So this makes it truly a comedy part of the genre.
Oh yeah, I think it really hits all the ones. It's not like, well, it wasn't kind of this. They are going for even stuff where they're hanging outside Martin Lawrence's pool, and the pool explodes, and they all go flying. That's the big payoff for this kind of even a little scene where it's doing like exposition and shit. So, and like Martin Lawrence's whole drug ecstasy scene. So yeah, it is going for a big buddy action comedy movie.
And I think like hate or love the comedy, it succeeds in that, in my
Yeah,
opinion, for this genre. And I
right.
thought the most interesting part of this movie is how it completely abandons this in the final act, but how it's dealing with the mental health of these characters who live in an
Yeah,
action world.
right.
They deal with Martin Lawrence dealing with it, the Captain is
Hmm.
dealing with it, and Will Smith is dealing with it. They're characters
Hmm.
that live in a world where there's action all the time, and they're having mental breaks and stuff.
Yeah, like
Extremely
PTSD. Yeah.
fascinating. Yeah, extremely.
Classic, but they did not go full into I thought that was just they half-assed that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That just kind of and there's no payoff really to that I can remember.
They just
Yeah,
leave it. They just forget about it by the final act.
yeah.
But I love that they tried that, and I was not expecting something that deep and interesting.
Mhm.
But it was cool.
Speaking of Joey Pants, the first one actually, I was a bit like impressed by Joey Pantoliano's toupee. I thought, damn, that's a really good toupee on Joey Pants. This one, it's pretty bad, and I thought for $100 million more, they just they could have got. I thought, can you do the same toupee? No, I don't know.
Great notes, Siskel.
No problem. I zero in on that shit. I'm like, yeah.
The mix between action and comedy, even though it's in very bad taste, the cadaver set piece, which I don't remember at all,
Yeah.
throwing dead bodies at their car, even though they already did that with actual cars. So to do it again with dead bodies being thrown at them as they're chasing them, very
Well,
interesting and wild. And this is what I meant by if we saw this, if there's like a foreign movie, I would be like, that's crazy and awesome, and here it gets kind of dismissed because it's just distasteful.
Well, after this and Michael Bay's pet project, Pain and Gain, I'm starting to think Michael Bay has kind of a tasteless sense of humor when it comes to yeah.
Uh, yeah, I still liked it, but that's with every scene, whether it worked or not. Everything is a set piece. It's whether it's comedy, whether it's action, whether it's a mixture of both. I really, really appreciate that, and it heightens the movie because too many times it's just shootouts or
Yeah.
conversations for the comedy. Like this one was like, let's just put a set piece in every fucking scene, one way or the other.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
they did, and I really admire that. Having read a lot of shit that refuses to employ set pieces.
He says because they're too expensive, they're too hard to shoot or something. I don't know.
No, they're not. They just think that they can get away with just mindless action or mindless conversation. Like,
Yeah.
have some moving parts in every scene, and this does that really well. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of credit for him for that. Like really felt missed opportunity. The Russian guy showing up during the finale with all his weapons to kill everybody. Do you remember that? It shows up to the mansion.
Yeah.
He's like, he's gonna get revenge and he's gonna kill everybody. I was like, that's fucking awesome. What a wild card to throw in at the end of your movie. Then they just shoot him and he's dead. I'm like, then why even
Yeah.
then why even do it? He should have been a part about the entire finale. It would have been great. You should have stolen
They
it.
hit it more. They could have got a comedic like Raiders of the Lost Ark thing where they're like, just shoots the guy with the sword. But I don't know what. Yeah, it just seemed like it was very just whatever. Fuck it.
Did we talk about the Cuban fear mongering? Because I
No,
thought
I don't think so.
funny. We go to Cuba, we're gonna get murdered. If they find out we're Americans in Cuba, we're dead. Like,
Well, once again, the movie shows its age a little bit. I don't now we can the Americans who travel to Cuba. It's not as quite as the scary communist hell that we once thought it was.
and then and this is obvious, every Babe movie has it, but the blatant car commercials, every time they get into a car, like, this is awesome. What a car we're riding in.
Yeah. This is a 2002 Ferrari, am I right? Yeah, you bet your ass. Well, I mean, that's also Michael Bay. I mean,
That's all movies,
you
yeah.
get out of the car and they walk past a huge Pepsi billboard, just that kind of shit. I mean, yeah.
But yeah, do you have anything from your notes, or did I cover everything?
Well, I mean, not too much other stuff other than like, I think this might be the longest buddy action comedy movie we've ever done. It's like 2.5 hours long. Also, 51. I think Lethal Weapon 2 was up there like in the 30s, and that was our highest body count. But 51, I think Bad Boys 2 takes the cake for, yeah. Congratulations, Bad Boys 2.
And they don't even count all the cops that didn't die on the car
Yeah,
check.
there's some cops in there. Yeah.
How would you rate this movie? How would you rate this movie?
I'd give it 4 out of 5. I mean, as far as buddy action comedy go, I mean, they went big. It made me laugh a couple times, which is more than a lot of these do. So, but 2.5 hours. I still think their banter's a little forced, but I mean, come on. I mean, you got crazy action scenes. It was 2.5 hours long. I was still into it. So yeah.
As a buddy action movie, I would give it 4.5 out of 5. It's about what you could ask for. I mean, it's fucking nuts. It's as I said earlier, the Avengers Endgame of fucking buddy action movies. It's great. So I give, but as a movie, 3.5 because it's still a lot of cheesy dick shit. I don't know what dick shit means, but you get
one little thing I noticed too is that Martin Lawrence still gets top billing over Will Smith in the credits. I thought that was interesting because at this point, Will Smith had like, Men in Black and Independence Day, these huge movies. Martin Lawrence was in like Big Mama's House and some movies that did like okay, but like he never had anything as huge as one of Will Smith's movies.
Maybe Will Smith was just at the point in his career was like, if he wants it, whatever, I don't give a shit,
Maybe.
I don't.
Before he started slapping motherfuckers around.
Clapping motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
So good. So I'm glad we're in agreement. I'm pretty much across the board. You know,
Yep.
Start sucks, but once you get into it, it's a fantastic buddy action comedy.
Yeah, for sure.
Huh. I feel like I had something else to ask you, and now I can't remember. What are we going to do next?
Well, you had a couple ideas, but I've been actually wanting to do Red Heat for a while.
Let's do Red Heat. Yeah, someone read down Letterbox. I didn't read it because I was like, I'm not going to read this review because we're probably going to do that next.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of a comedy it is, but I feel like
James Belushi, man, you know it's a laugh riot, dude.
I just feel like Belushi's showing up in these almost as much as Shane Black, which is weird.
Yeah. And yeah, the Belushi presence is big, and it's always wins. But Walter Hill directed it. I haven't seen it actually in a while, and we haven't done a Schwarzenegger one yet. So
cool. You watched Shogun? What'd you say?
Shogun?
Yeah.
No.
You read it?
No.
What's the last book you read?
This book called what I'm reading right now is it's called Best Movie Year Ever. It's all about 1999. Yeah.
Eat shit, Kenny.
No thanks.